Okay, fellas, that didn't quite go to plan those last two games, but it's nothing that we weren't expecting. You guys hung with that Barcelona team for a good 80 minutes, okay? So when we go home for this game coming up, I want to see us try and get some points out of that one. And then we've got Anderlecht, and like everyone's beating Anderlecht, so if we can beat those guys, we at least finish third in the group, okay? So positive signs, I want to see a good bounce back for these next two games. Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 78 of Husavik Heroes here on Shaun Does FM. I hope you are doing well, and coming up in today's episode we have a rematch with Barcelona followed up by an away trip against Anderlecht. If we win that second one, we more or less guarantee ourselves third in this Champions League group, and that does mean some knockout football for the start of next year. So if you are looking forward to today's episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on today's episode, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying this series here on the channel, also consider hitting that subscribe button and turning that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. But since yesterday's episode where we did take on Barcelona as well as Manchester City, if you missed that, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner. But we did suffer pretty heavy defeats in both of those games, albeit that Barcelona one was a much more encouraging performance than the one against Manchester City. It wasn't until the last 10 minutes of that game, and we conceded a penalty at 1-1, that they really started to steamroll over the top of us there, did Barcelona. So I do think back at home, we're not without a chance here of potentially picking up a draw at least, but there's been really nothing happening in the gap since yesterday's episode. I've just been sorting out some staff contracts, seeing as that has ticked over into a new year for all those staff and player contracts. So I've just been sorting out some staff contracts and trying to improve things in that regard. We have no first team injuries to worry about our starting 11. Anyway, a quick look at what the group table does look like going into today's episode. We are in third, 3 points clear of Anderlecht after beating those guys in the first match week, and it is a further 3 points up to Barcelona and another 3 points up to Manchester City. So a pretty evenly staggered group it is at this stage. Man City taking on Anderlecht at the Etihad in the other game on this fourth match week, and that is a game you would expect Manchester City to be very comprehensive winners, and hopefully that is the case, and it just keeps Anderlecht rooted to the bottom of the table, still on 0 points. They look well and truly outclassed so far. Hopefully that remains the case for the second game of today's episode, so we can secure that Europa League knockout spot at the very least for the start of next week. But as I said, no injury concerns going into this one. We'll come back shortly from the Laugardas Vola and hopefully bounce back just a little bit here in the home game against Barcelona. And here are the team sheets for this one. We are at full strength. We have made the one change at left back, Alejandro Meza, on a yellow card. We just want to save him up for that Anderlecht game, just in case that's quite important to getting through to the Europa League knockouts. Barcelona very similar to the team that we took on yesterday as well, but that means Sigurd Bjornsson starts at left back with Meza on the bench. We'll manage that throughout this game. But as I said, hopefully we can get a better result here against Barcelona, because I don't think we actually played that badly against these guys yesterday. And 13 minutes gone. First highlight of this one is a free kick in Barcelona's favour. They are in the light blue today. We are at home in our green Northern Lights uniform, and Gavi makes his way inside the box, plays it over to Gabriel Jesus. Gavi trying to pick out Raul Leo there at the far post, but Nygaard does tidy things up and starts to charge down the right-hand side. Balde on a yellow card there with a slide tackle, but they do get possession back, and Rafael Leao, I should say, on the ball, and it's a nice one over there from Pedri for Gabriel Jesus. We will just have to wait here for a VAR check, but they might have opened the scoring here just around about the 15-minute mark. Barcelona, we will just wait and see if the goal will stand, and indeed it has actually been disallowed, so we get away with one fairly early on there. It was a risky tackle by Balde on that yellow card. Indeed, Jesus is a good stride offside, so after 15 minutes, still locked up here at 0. Out to the 18-minute mark, it is a corner in our favour. Nicolucci in there for Corbo. It falls to Fredrik Larsson. He will bury it, and it is 1-0 Völsungur against Barcelona right on the 20-minute mark. We will go to a balanced mentality off the back of that and just try and manage this now, because that is a great start for us, even though it comes around the 20-minute mark. It was a very good save there from ter Stegen from the initial Corbo header. In fact, I think considering the start we've made, we'll go back to positive. They just checked goal line technology for that first shot. Not too sure why, because Larsen puts it in the back of the net. 1-0 Völsungur at the 20-minute mark, albeit a highlight straight off the back of that. Hopefully, we can hold on to the scoreline. We play a ball over there for Caviglia. Great chance and forces a very good save out of ter Stegen, but some very encouraging signs here. 1-0 Völsungur at the 21-minute mark, and now it is a throw-in in our favour. Demaral will get that back out to Sigurd Bjornsson. Corbo for R.S.C. plays that all the way back to Mbiyamba, and back to Galtason. We try and get something going here. Camped inside the Barcelona half, albeit we play that all the way back to Serafellini. Mbiyamba, can we get another chance here on the attack and really put our foot down in this game? This would be a heck of a result, and could be a result which sees Anderlecht in a heap of trouble going into that game that we play against those guys later today. Nygaard flexing on nicely for Rubio, and his shot comes off the post, albeit he was offside. It's still 1-0 halfway through the first half to Völsungur. 37 minutes gone. It is a corner here for Barcelona in the Man City colours, and they put it far post, and just like yesterday, it is Malai Demaral who buries that in the back of the net. You will see there, bottom left corner, although now my face is in the way of that, but Manchester City do lead Anderlecht 1-0 thanks to a Haaland goal, but that is a good far post corner there from Barcelona, and slightly against the runner play, it is 1-1 just shy of half-time. And that is half-time in this one, 1-1 between Völsungur and Barcelona, but you look at those stats, and I do think we are slightly edging things so far in this game, and that is very encouraging indeed. So pretty pleased with how this is going. Both of our wingbacks are on average ratings, but we will take off Ian Carlo. He is really struggling on a 6.2. Adri Garrido can come on for him. We'll try and give the boys a bit of encouragement and see if we can get something out of this game locked up here, 1-1 at halftime. And shortly after the restart, it is a free kick here for Barcelona inside our half. Ravella given a ton of space. Montiel out there at right back starts to make his way forward, puts in for Jesus, bit of a 1-2, and Barca are on the attack early here in the second half. Rafael Leao puts that in there for Memphis Depay, and that was a great chance, just puts it wide. Still 1-1 early in the second half. And now up to the 49-minute mark, we are down the other end on the attack. Garrido for Nygaard, interesting slide tackle there, but does not make any contact, and they head it clear out for Gabriel Jesus, given a lot of space, doesn't try and charge up into that space, but they are still in possession here, Barcelona, and they get it out to Rafael Leao out on their left-hand side. Pedri, can they strike back either side of half-time? That would be a dagger blow, but a good interception there from Anderson. Rubio, it's a poor ball from him, and Barcelona might have a chance here. Semi on the counter-attack. Gavi on the edge of the box plays it back out to Jesus, and Barcelona look to get something going here. Ravella over to Montiel. Can he put a ball into the mixer? Yes, he can. Leao on the retreat just heads it over the bar. Still 1-1 at the 50-minute mark, and we are going to make a second substitution. Sigurd Bjornsson is struggling out there at left back, so Alejandro Meza will come on for him. Hopefully he doesn't pick up a yellow card, because then he would be suspended, but that's 2 subs used. 51 minutes gone, still 1-1 here. And a big bit of play here without no highlight, but 73 minutes gone. Gabriel Corbo from the corner comes off the crossbar. Still 1-1 here with 15 minutes left. And up to the 76-minute mark now, we are going to make our last substitution. Porstein Arnason is on a 6.4. He is struggling a little bit. I think we could use a little bit of fresh legs there in the midfield. So Werner Bayer will come on for him. Last substitution used, 1-1 inside the last 15 minutes. 88 minutes gone. It's another corner here in our favour. Caviglia puts it in for Corbo. His header just over the bar, but we are doing very well here to get a point out of Barcelona. Hopefully that remains the same in injury time. All gets better because we do have a throw-in. Demaral gets that back out to Frederick Larsen. Meza puts that in for Nygaard. Far post to Stegen. Gets caught in kind of no man's land there. Does the wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man routine. And it is 2-1 Völsungur inside injury time here against Barcelona. What a win that would be. We do just time waste a little bit. Slow the tempo down, be a little bit less expressive, and hopefully that allows us to get through the remaining 4 minutes, but that could be a massive goal and actually give us a chance of getting out of this group in the Champions League as long as we can actually beat Anderlecht in the second game of today's episode. But that is Meza off the bench picking out Patrick Nygaard, who was having a pretty average game up until then. That will no doubt help. And now we are inside the last few minutes. Please, no more highlights. There is one here for Barcelona with only 10 seconds left. Luis Diaz off the bench, having joined from Liverpool in game, and he is in behind our defence here far too easily. Oh, Barcelona break our hearts. It's still not a bad result, but we have somewhat thrown that away in the last minute. We will go back to our regular tempo, not time waste, be more expressive yet again, just in case we can do anything in the dying seconds of this one. But just after grabbing a goal, which potentially would have given us a famous win over Barcelona, Jesus gives that to Diaz, and he's just got too much pace off the bench there for our defence. Tucks that away just inside that far post, and just after grabbing a lead in this game, it does get reduced back to 2-2. As I said before, that's still a really good point for us in that race for third, but it is full time. It was a really good performance from us. Feels a little bit harsh that we didn't win that game, and that is very encouraging when you're taking on a team like Barcelona, but that should be enough to get us an extra point above Anderlecht going into the second game of today's episode. So even a draw against those guys might be enough to secure us a spot in the knockouts of a European competition for the start of next year. We're slightly more dominant in this game in those first three statistics up there. The rest were pretty even, slightly favouring Barcelona, but that was a pretty good performance. Unfortunately, Diaz pops up late to get an equaliser for Barcelona, but what that means for the group table here in this Champions League group of ours is that we are on 4 points. Anderlecht suffered a 3-0 defeat there to Man City, so we can secure ourselves a place in the knockouts of a European competition with a draw in the second game of today's episode. And we'll come back in a couple of weeks in game for that away tie against Anderlecht. And we are back in between the two games in today's episode with a very interesting bit of news, albeit I need to explain what has happened in this situation because I've actually had to travel back in time a little bit because something happened. So what came up is that the Iceland manager, for the first time in this save, has resigned from his job or been sacked. Didn't actually check which one it was, but it does mean that the Iceland national job is available. So what I did was apply for this, but unfortunately I have had to go back in time. So what I did here was I applied for the job, senior job, applied for it. Iceland currently ranked 87th in the world, but by applying for that job, the Völsungur board got very upset with me and they sacked me. So for the betterment of this save, I have made a decision that we are not going to go after the Icelandic national job here. I've gone back to before I applied for that job, but for the first time in the save, it did come up, but unfortunately, we would not be able to keep our Völsungur job if we did take the national team job. The board not too happy with that one. I could get the in-game editor and change that, but I don't really think it's worth it. It does still allow us to get through the save a little bit quicker than it would if we were doing the national team as well. So I think that will probably put pay to any dreams of international management in this Build a Nation save. Hopefully, the new manager that they do get can get that world ranking up and hopefully qualify them for the Euros. You can see they're currently in a qualifying playoff semi-final against Northern Ireland. But while we are here, what we will do, because I had a request for this in the comments a few episodes ago, is just have a look at the national team at the moment. We do have 2 players in this national team. If we make our way down a bit further, we can see them. In fact, they are on the screen right now. Porstein Arnason, currently one of the starting midfielders in this team, and on the bench, Brynjar Galtason is on the bench as well. They are the only 2 players who we do have currently in the Icelandic national team. You can see a few players in this team are at some quite nice clubs, most notably Isaac Johannesson at Atletico Madrid. We've got a few more players in the under-21s and all those sort of younger age teams. Got Brynjar Gudmundsson, one of our youth intake players in the under-21s. We go back a little bit further, under-20s. We've got Arnason, one of the long-time youth intake players at the club here in that under-20 team. The under-19s, we have the likes of Arna Sigurðarson. We've got Ingapor Asgeirsson, a lot of players who have been coming for our youth intakes. Ingimar Eline Ingvarsson and down to the under-18s. We've actually got no players in that under-18 squad, but we've got a lot of players filtering through the Icelandic under teams, but only 2 players in the first team at the moment in Galtason and Arnason, the only one of those players who is starting, but we are going to put page that we need dreams of international management because I really don't want to get sacked from Völsungur, so we can't unfortunately do international management, and we'll come back shortly prior to the Anderlecht game. And we are back prior to this Anderlecht game. We've got a little bit of an injury update to get through, but first off, the Iceland national team have appointed a new manager. Still haven't played that next qualifying game for the European Championships against Northern Ireland, but Graham Alexander is the new manager of Iceland, having recently spent some time in-game at Slovenia after being at Motherwell in real life at the start of this save. But we do have some injury concerns going into this game. Luckily, most of them are for backup rotation players. Samuel Afosu has suffered a dislocated shoulder. He is going to be out until the start of next year. Hopefully, we can secure ourselves some football in a knockout capacity in Europe for when he does return. We've got Chaka Traore, who is still not actually a backup left winger because Sergio Cadena hasn't actually left us yet. He's got a thigh strain out for 6 to 12 days. He's going to be another player who will be involved a bit more at the start of next season. Then we've got some other backups, Ivkovic and Fernando, who are real backup players. Fernando's only just came back from a loan, but Rosario Renzi, our backup defensive midfielder, in behind the Iceland international, and Galtason is also out with a bruised thigh. So we've got a few injuries going into this upcoming game against Anderlecht. The point here is enough for us to secure ourselves a place in the knockouts of the Europa League at least, but luckily all of these injuries are to players who wouldn't have been on our bench anyway. That is apart from Samuel Afosu, but a ready-made replacement there in Michael Biedrzycki. He will do a good job for us in Afosu's place. Very similar rating, both current ability and potential ability-wise, but in terms of the first team, back to full strength with Alejandro Meza starting this upcoming game. And we'll come back shortly from Lotto Park in Belgium and try and get a point to secure ourselves our place in the knockouts of European football for the start of the new year. And here are the team sheets for this one. Again, here is Anderlecht up first. They actually, looking at this, look a little bit weaker by my reckoning. No Eddie Salcedo up front, so this could be a bit of an interesting one. We are looking at our first win in a little while here with that team that we ran through before, our first choice 11 in terms of starting wise. Anyway, Manchester City have already qualified, but a win here could make things very interesting going into that last match week, and we'll see if we can secure ourselves that third place here away at Anderlecht. And we do have a highlight straight from the kickoff. Anderlecht in the purple. We are yet again in our green Northern Lights uniform, and they look to get in our half nice and early. Callum plays it up to Aguiar on the left-hand side. They have an early shot here, early warning side there from Anderlecht, but put it over the bar. Still 0-0 after 1 minute, and now we are down the other end for hopefully a highlight of our own. Frederick Larsson gets just in behind the defence, puts the ball into the mixer. Almost looked like a handball there, but unfortunately Larsson does give the ball away. They do hoof it deep, and we will win possession back. That is something which should be a lot easier to do in this game than it was in those games previously against City and Barcelona. Frederick Larsson tries to take the shot on there from a tight angle. Might have been better squaring that one, but a decent chance now at both ends. Still 0-0 early here in this away game. 17 minutes gone here, and Anderlecht do have a free kick. Mbayamba has picked up a yellow card since the last highlight. They are taking a long time over this one, which is concerning. He's given a lot of space there just outside the box, and Jari Verschalen is able to open the scoring for Anderlecht, and that is not the start that we were after, and this could give Anderlecht a very sneaky chance of getting above us here in this Champions League group. No one came back to mark him off that free kick, just tucks it away inside the far post. 1-0 Anderlecht just past the quarter of an hour mark. 31 minutes gone now. We do have a goal kick. Nothing happening since that opener to Anderlecht, so we have got a little bit shouty at the boys of Demar Moore, and hopefully we can get something going off this highlight. They play a ball deep there to Anderlecht. Sarah Fellaini clears that. It's a bit of a terrible clearance, but thankfully Larsson does get the ball for us. That would have been open on a counter-attack there for Anderlecht, but thankfully the ball does find Larsson, and we just look to seal things down here and hopefully get this back to all square at least before half-time, because this is not a result that we were after, and Benjamin Rubio starts to go forward. 1-2 between him and Meza. Squares this for R.S.C, and he will just sneak that in at the goalkeeper's near post, and the Icelandic international does get us back to all square. It was a little bit of a tight space, that one that he rolled the ball through, but we do get back to all square. Really nice 1-2 there between Alejandro Meza and Rubio. He just finds the space there to get that past the goalkeeper. I think Frederick Larson nearly got in the way of that, but we do get it back to all square, 10 minutes shy of half-time. And right off the back of that goal is a throw-in here for Anderlecht. So they look to get right back in the lead, but they do give the ball away, and hopefully we can get back in control of this game. Anderson, the player who did open the scoring for us there, plays it up for Benjamin Rubio, back to Caviglia. Can we get a quick fire double? Ian Carlo plays that to Caviglia. Good short passing from us here. And we get it back out to Carlo. Nygaard in there for Rubio. Is someone going to make a good run? Not quite yet. Ian Carlo again here down the right-hand side, puts in for Patrick Nygaard. He puts it in the back of the net, and in the space of only a few minutes, we go from 1-0 down to 2-1 up, and this is looking a lot better than what it was only a few minutes ago. Much more like what we were expecting here against what have been so far the whipping boys of this group. Good patient play. Ian Carlo finds some space there for Nygaard. Just gets that beyond the goalkeeper. 2-1 Völsungur, 10 minutes shy of halftime. And right on the brink of halftime, Anderlecht have just pumped the ball deep over to Mbiyamba, and hopefully he clears it. He doesn't. Both of our centre-backs here are on yellow cards. This would be really disappointing after working so well to get the lead back. They try and crank one there into the top right corner, but it just goes over the bar, and we should be going into halftime with a 2-1 lead. Little bit of a nervy opening 20 minutes from us there, but we came back well from conceding the opener. Goals in quick succession to both Anderson and Nygaard do mean that we are 2-1 up, and this would be a result which secures us our place in the knockouts of a European competition for the start of next season. We'll tell the boys they're doing well, they can do better, and hopefully we'll get at least one more goal here in the second half. And only a few minutes into the second half, we have our first highlight of it. It is a throw-in inside the Anderlecht half, and we start to go forward just a little bit. Patrick Nygaard inside the box. Can he link up with someone? Ian Carlo already has an assist for Patrick Nygaard there, but he does give the ball away that time. They pump it deep here. Do Anderlecht, and we'll keep that into Anderlecht potentially here with a chance on the counter-attack, but Ian Carlo with a good interception. He is having a very good game at right back, which you love to see, because some of our other defenders on eggshells a little bit with those yellow cards, but we continue to make our way forward. Rubio just holding the ball up there, picks out Alejandro Meza, making a run down the left-hand side. Some really nice short passing from us here. Caviglia, oh, what a goal that is. Some gorgeous short passing, some real liquid football, and Nicolucci Caviglia buries that into the top left corner, and in a quick succession of time, considering that not too long before half-time there, we were 1-0 down early on in the second half. We are now 3-1 up. That was really well worked there down that left-hand side. Good short passing and a great strike from the former club captain. 3-1 Völsungur after 50 minutes. And up to the 65-minute mark here, we do have a goal kick for Anderlecht. They pump it deep. Corbo wins the header, and we do get possession back. Things have certainly improved since those opening 20 minutes of this one. Now in a very good position to at least wrap up third in this group with one game left, albeit a very tough game against Manchester City. And Larson with a great chance there, but forces a good save out of the Anderlecht goalkeeper. So it does remain 3-1 here with just under a half hour to go. We'll see if anything comes from this corner. They do deal with that fairly safely. Do Anderlecht, 24 minutes left, still 3-1 to Völsungur. And up to the 73-minute mark, we are going to make our first substitution. Anderson, who got that opening goal, down to a red heart. We have Maurizio Goffi on the bench today. He is an out-and-out replacement for Anderson, so that's the easy sub. 17 minutes left, still 3-1 Völsungur. And only a few minutes later, we're going to make our second substitution. Frederick Larson down to a red heart. Sergio Cadena still here, so he can come on for the last 13 minutes. And inside the last couple of minutes, we're going to make our last substitution. Nicolucci Caviglia is down to a red heart. Only one midfielder on the bench. He has already come on. So what I think we're going to do here is bring Pat Ainscoe off the bench. Patrick Nygaard can shift into the Mazzala, with Goffey going into the box-to-box, but in a pretty safe position here, 3-1 up with 6 minutes left. And that is full time in this group stage game, and we do guarantee ourselves third place at least in this group after coming from behind to pick up a 3-1 win against Anderlecht, goals to Arnason Nygaard and a very well worked one to Nicolucci Caviglia in the second half. Not much happening from that point on, but we will take that, a point against Barcelona and then 3 against Anderlecht. That means that they are on 0 points. We are on 7, absolutely guaranteed a place in the knockouts of a European competition for the start of next week, and it will depend on how we do against Manchester City and if Anderlecht can somehow get some points against Barcelona on whether we actually make our way into the knockouts of the Champions League instead of the Europa League. But it is job done for us with 1 game to spare. We will at least finish third in a European group. Yet again, we will need a bit of help if we are to sneak above Barcelona on this table, but there is a chance going into tomorrow's episode that we could still finish second, but we've done our job, can finish no worse than third and the Europa League knockouts. And back in the inbox off the back of a pretty good episode for us today, letting a potentially very famous win for Völsungur slip late in the first game of today's episode, but still a good result there, 2-2 against Barcelona, and then a pretty comfortable in the end 3-1 win coming from behind against Anderlecht. And as I said before, when you saw the group table, that means we can finish no worse than third and could even sneak up to second. But the way Anderlecht are going, that is extremely unlikely with the goal differential. If we have another look at the group, of Barcelona have a 6 goal difference, we are on -1, so we'll need a lot of help from Anderlecht in tomorrow's episode if we want to make our way through into the knockouts of the Champions League, the Europa League knockouts. Probably more suitable for us at this stage anyway, but some more encouraging signs than what we got from yesterday's episode, picking up that quite nice draw there against Barcelona. And we're a little bit harsh not to pick up a win in that game, but that will do it for today's episode. If you did enjoy it, then do make sure to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. We will come back tomorrow for that last game of the Champions League group stage, and it does in fact fall in the new season. It is away to Manchester City, so we are probably going to finish third if we're being honest, but we will also have the end of season review as well. Actually have to go back in time a couple of hours for that one because it did actually fall on the day of this Anderlecht game, so could have done things a little bit differently. Might have made the last episode of the week a little bit more dramatic, but we know where we're going to finish now. We have at least guaranteed ourselves a spot in the knockouts for a European competition at the start of next year. But as I said, we'll come back tomorrow, do the end of season review as well as that last game of the Champions League group against Manchester City. But until then, thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.